Hello, friends. It's Laura Ward. You're here in role play. The invitation in this class, we're going to do a lot of core, distal, center to edge. The invitation is for you to just take in this information on a body level. So it doesn't have to be thought through or intellectually comprehended in any way. It's just allowing your body the chance to explore and move with these different ideas. And you can do this laying down, standing up, any way that feels good to you. You can do other things and just sort of take it in also if that's what's right. Having said that, if you are watching these videos regularly, if you're getting something out of them, please consider supporting this content so I can keep offering it. I really want to offer this free content so it's not just available to people who have a lot of money to afford it. So I feel like so much movement education is it really gate kept by the higher institutions learning. And so here it is. It's free. It's for anybody. You can take this in, you can use it for yourself. You can share it in any way that you want to. And that is my, and at least like and subscribe. If you can't support it, underneath, I will put links for Patreon and for PayPal. So a one-time donation or a continued supporter, you can do it for $4 a month, whatever, if it works for you. Yeah, we're going to use some music, some from Anthony, also known as Tonus Maximus. I think some from Michelle Aiello. We'll see what else. And we're going to play with this idea of center to edge, of core distal. I'm actually interestingly starting standing up. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to be seated. But if we think of like, let's just take a minute you can stand, you can sit, you can lay down, but maybe take your hands on your belly and just feel into imagining that this in here is center. Like if we reached to the very edges and then found where is the intersection of those points, that would be somewhere where we want to maybe consider our center. And the center may move slightly or have some mobility, but it also may be sort of centralized. So just breathing into that. And let's actually do some sounding with this. Let's go with an ooh sound or a deep ooh, yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be a good one to hit down there if you can. Ooh. And if I kind of open my mouth and think of dropping the sound down, I feel like it kind of enters the whole cavern of my body. So I'll just show you close up what I mean by that. One way to do it is to go ooh, and it's all kind of here. Ooh, or I can go ooh, and I've just sort of dropped it down, kind of opening up my throat and ooh, softening into my belly. So let's play with that sound for the ooh. If it's uncomfortable for you to make noise out loud, you can go just close your lips. Somebody on the behavior panel, was it that? Someone somewhere, oh no, it was in the Joe Navarro book. I don't know, it was somewhere said, oh, it wasn't in any of those places, but it was in the Healing Vibration Summit. It was a guy who was doing a thing on sound healing. He's like, most people, they might feel uncomfortable about their singing voice, but the hum, most people aren't afraid of humming. So if it's uncomfortable to make noise, we're not singing, but we're just sounding. Try it with your mouth closed. Just letting it last as long as it feels good. Letting it really drop down into your belly. So in Irmgard Bartenieff's system of sounding, it would be ooh, oh, ah, a, e. Let's just try it. Let's just do an ooh, ah, e. So we're finding that whole central column sort of within there. It may or may not move for you. Try it a couple more times. You can leave your hands, but I'm just putting them there so you can see where the way that she conceptualized it, these are the places where it's vibrating more, which I can kind of agree with. you can start to go with your own faster or slower, or stay in one, play around with it a little bit. But let's just keep playing with it for a few more breaths. Letting your body move in whatever way feels good. So we're really waking up our core, our center, with this sounding practice. And I'm just bringing in the core distal relationship from center to edge as I start to open out. And also we can think that ooh sound is very much ooh, the shape of my face. Although when I drop it, I can feel this happening. Ooh. So it's going forward and down at the same time. And the ah is very like open, like ah in the up down with a little bit of forward backward, but mostly up down. And then the E is very much side side with a little bit of forward backward. So we're really also playing with this dimensionality of the shaping inside our body as we are making these sounds. I'm going to take it down to the floor. I think it's cold where both of you guys are actually, and I'm going to put my sweater back on. So I'm going to take this down to the floor and keep playing with it. And I'm going to start to invite in this idea of core distal. So distal means like the edge, my fingers, my toes, the tip of my nose, top of my head. We could think head tail as kind of being sort of distal compared to the center. So what we're thinking about is this relationship from the center to the edges. And we'll get going again on the floor, a little bit more free flow with the sounding. So it doesn't have to be going in the order I'm going in. And you can also stay standing, of course, but playing with it in whatever way feels good, or seated or laying down. Maybe a few in stillness just to feel into the shaping in your own body. I could also do this higher. Feeling where things are vibrating for you. You can also like have a minute of not doing the sounding, letting yourself explore, mobilize, maybe from the inside to the outside, maybe from the outside to the inside, having this relationship, core distal. So as we were working with sounding, we were definitely working with this underlying breath support. You got to take in a big inhale in order to be able to exhale for that long. And if you're having any kind of lung stuff, if you have like, and I actually do, because I was sick for a week and my lungs are still not back to where they were beforehand. Ooh, so when we do these sounding practices, it can really help mobilize and vibrate that tissue just to give it the opportunity to be very alive. And when things are alive and there's fluidity moving, it is much healthier than when it's kind of still and stagnant. And this pattern, this core distal pattern, is a developmental pattern. If you think about babies, when they start to really actually just start to move their limbs, it's like a lot of stuff is going out and coming back in, often coming into their mouths. So yeah, after we have this underlying breath support and some core support, and maybe we start to feel our head-tail connection, we're also coming into this core distal relationship. Fingertips, toes, coming into center, reaching out. as we sort of navigate being three-dimensional bodies in the world. The baby isn't thinking, I'm a three-dimensional body in the world. Baby's just playing with space or, sensation coming into awareness. So the invitation is to let go of the adult mind, let that just go away, or any kind of need to completely intellectualize this and completely get it in your head, and allow your body just to play with it. If you feel like you're going to do something, like if you get into that predictive idea that this is okay, I'm going to do this and then it's going to be that, change it, shift it to something else. You can also do the sound without using your vocal cords. So you could go, just feeling that difference, and maybe even playing back and forth where you can play with aspirating, just letting the breath sound come out, or adding the vocal cord, just so that we start to enter some really different territory, right? We're entering into this playful space of open possibility, open awareness, open exploration. So we've started with sort of finding our center with the sound. Let your awareness come into your fingers and toes as well, so you can really feel out to the periphery of your body, maybe the periphery of your space, but wakening up and livening your digits. There's that ape, I think, called Digit, that learns so much language with her digits. So think of the language of our fingers and toes, and this center to edge language. What language is your toe speaking? Often for many people, they don't think about it. So the only language that the toe might ever speak might be pain when something goes wrong or they stub it. So let's just invite in a much larger lexicon for the fingers and toes. Many more possibilities. And I'm going to add music to this for this exploration. Taking it to the edges, back to center whenever you want. And this is going to be sort of rando Calrissian. Let a few different things play out, and they may be fairly different, so try not to be too jarred, or allow the jarring to happen. Just let it come in. You can also sound whenever you want. Noticing how different it is when the core distal relationship is really close to you or when it's really far out. Just feeling what that's like how does it feel to be closed in? Sometimes it's very comforting. Sometimes we just need to reach out and get bigger in our world. So letting yourself play with that. Feeling into how it feels in your body. Without locking into it's always going to be like this. It can be different every time. if you sort of have ideas about your hands and feet, like, oh, like, you know, cultural inhibitions on them or injuries that have happened in the past, imagine that you can just soften that idea so that whatever you thought or felt about hands and feet can just be on the sideboard, and you're not focusing on that. You're allowing a new relationship to form. That was an Anthony piece. That second one. Thinking also about how, like, what's the movement from the center to the edge? How does it go out? How does it come in? Are there different ways of going from the core to the periphery, from the core to the distal? Are there, like, it could just be a straight pathway out, or it could really meander. It could not go to the whole edge. It could come just into something closer in. So letting yourself play with what feels good and interesting in those interactions from the center to the edge, the core to the distal. I'm going to put more music on so we have more variety of expression. Yeah, the periphery can stay far away. We can keep ourselves radiated out, or the periphery can come in close. Thinking of those, what are the Hoberman balls that expand and go out, or they can come in? Hoberman sphere, I think it's called. Everything can go out together or in all different directions. I can interact with my environment in that core distal relationship, either with the floor or with the camera, with anything else. Also, what's it like if we have eyes open or eyes closed? How does that core distal relationship change when you're seeing or just feeling? What happens to the dynamics of your movement if your eyes are closed? That was super flowy music, so it might have shifted a lot. And this next one, it's coming into Jeff Gersh again, the ambient field, so it'll be more spacey probably. Giving yourself full motor babbling freedom. Offering your body the opportunity to let go of any kind of tension or any kind of stress that's unhelpful. Letting go of things as you're in this exploration, letting just the curiosity and the inquiry soften and release any kind of stuck holding patterns very gently, very easily, very kindly. Would you kindly let go of some of that stress or tension that you're holding in front? Maybe the tension's in your hands or your feet, or maybe in your ankles or your hips or your shoulders. Offering yourself this opportunity to renegotiate being a person in a body just by bringing awareness into different things. We are playing with this core distal relationship, center to edge, middle to toes and fingers. Many other things can be arising. Many other patterns and awarenesses. Fluctuations in flow, from free flow, very childlike and playful, to more bound flow, more contained and adult-like, more mature. also this kind of patterning of how we're moving from place to place. Maybe very central, spoke-like, arc-like movement, or maybe very whole body shaping and carving. All of it invited into the experience. The distal edges can be fairly still while the core moves, or the center can be very active and or still as the edges move. So we're also playing with this shifting balances of mobility and stability, different parts of the body acting as support while other parts are moving. Noticing how all these joints from your fingers through your hand, through your wrist, elbow, shoulders, into your spine, and from your foot through your ankle, through your knee, through your hip, again into your spine, all this possibility in these joints, these proximal joints, your hips and shoulders, mid-limb joints, your knees and elbows, and then the more distal ones, your wrists, feet and hands, ankles. What's the big dance of all these joints working together? No matter what is happening in your body, the whole thing is involved. Even if you feel like it's just one area, we can't separate the body from anything. It's all one body-mind system. No way to separate it apart. Water, the air, the oxygen, even the electricity, the energy moving through your body is always connected to the whole. So while we're playing with this idea of core distal, there's still this entire dance of the whole happening. Integrated. Listening into your nervous system. How does this movement land in your nervous system? How does this sound land in your nervous system? How much do you need to slow down to really pay attention and stay present with the sensations in your body? Offering this idea, this gravity. I was going to say gratitude, and gravity came out of my mouth. Offering this gratitude to the gravitational pull of the earth, but also for the fact that we're in these bodies connected to the earth. Oh, thank you, body. So much gratitude. Thank you, earth. Thank you for participating with me, for being me here on this planet. The 3 G's: gravity, gratitude, generosity. I'll let that That was a Jeff Gersh song called Unformed. Ambient Fields. That is on Bandcamp. The Michelle Aiello stuff and the Anthony stuff are not released, but the Jeff Gersh stuff is released. So it is findable and retrievable. You can buy his stuff. It's awesome. All right, I'm going to stop recording. TV Land, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. It makes a difference. Oh, there's a cat. We just have to share the cat moment because that is the first appearance of a cat in the room in the video today. It's the pea pod. Look at her pea in her pod. It's one little pea right in the middle. Poor cat. All right, ending this. Boom.